South Africa's youth have always played a vital role in the way that the future is moulded. We've seen this in the generation of 1976 and the way that they brought about change.
I think youth have been absolutely pivotal when it comes to bringing about this collective consciousness around climate change and all the interlinking social injustices that come along with it. And I also think creating pressure, for the big corporates and industry in terms of saying, we're ready to hold people accountable.
When you talk about climate change. But I think, in a nutshell, we need government to realize us as change makers, as trailblazers, as people who aren't just going to sit around and watch them destroy our future.
No! What do we want? Where do we want it? No!
And without a healthy environment, we really don't have the ability to survive. And so essentially every right of the youth is at stake for both present youth and youth of the future.
I should be able to go to school and worry about becoming a computer scientist and not be able to focus on my degree because I'm busy fighting leaders who aren't prioritizing climate change.
All young people deserve a future that is free from social and environmental injustice, regardless of our race, our gender, our sexual orientation, our disability. We deserve a future that is protected and secure, not only for us, but for generations to come.
Education, not extinction. Education, not extinction.
Climate change, environmental breakdown, health, economic impacts, these are all things that will come forward and has happened with our reliance on fossil fuels. We need a transition away from fossil fuels, from coal, from gas.
We are going to run out of coal at some point. So either way, we are going to need to create jobs for the people working in the coal industry. The answer is in a just transition, where we start looking at green jobs, and it is known that a just transition will come with the creation of employment, which will solve part of the problem that we have in the country, which will also, to a certain extent, guarantee jobs for the youth of today.
As we move through a just transition, there are going to be so many job opportunities, whether it's with renewable energy, whether it's with ecosystem restoration. There are going to be jobs that we don't even know exist yet. And that's going to provide a very exciting opportunity for youth employment.
As a grassroots youth-led organization, we at African Climate Alliance support and understand the need for a Green New Eskom campaign because we believe that it is one of the many steps toward a progressive future.
That we need to live in a society which centers people.
We want a future that is powered by alternatives and socially owned renewable energy. While we understand that renewables are often talked about as the way forward, we also understand that it is not perfect and not the only solution forward.
I mean, you can't put solar panels on an unjust system, but it's part of many solutions that cumulatively can create a more sustainable future. I think there are definitely people in power who know we need to move away from fossil fuels and act on climate change, but I think they desperately lack political will.
They're still backing coal, which in turn is harming our futures. Government needs to hold itself accountable for the ruins that it is responsible for. People aren't being prioritized, and we need to get to a point where our big industries are going to change. So the whole dynamic of us having a big industry in coal, that needs to be disintegrated. And that starts with people actually holding some of these organizations and government accountable.
The refusal to listen to the voices of thousands crying out for help. The refusal to move forward with a just transition and action toward deep systemic change. We are tired of their empty promises.
And they need to listen to us when we tell them to prioritize us and prioritize the economy and prioritize our futures.
I think there's an opportunity for youth to join grassroots movements, to join organizations that exist, and to actively get involved in this grassroots movement calling for climate justice, to really call on leaders to be accountable, to get involved in our communities and work with all of those that are around us intergenerationally to realize the future that we really want.
We hope that from this we can uproot the system, but also uproot the DMRE and the deep systemic injustices that we as South Africans face.
But people also need to realize that they have the power within them to facilitate change.
It's time for change. We as youth may be called the leaders of tomorrow, but we are taking action today. Join us as we mobilize for justice.